is Logging from Real Life, where we do farming simulation, mostly here on Farm Simulator with a focus on forestry. And our differentiator here in this YouTube world, where there are a lot of channels out there that do Farm Simulator with a focus on logging. One of the things that we are going to aim to do on this channel is add some realism, a little bit more realism to our gameplay. Again, this is, I'm your real life logger here, just adding my take on this game and kind of incorporating some real life experience to this channel. I come from a family that has been in the industry for a couple decades. My dad has worked at a sawmill, been part owner and now sole owner of a sawmill for about 3 decades, and I've been around for almost all of them. I started, popping up over there. From a young age, just, when I was a kid, riding the truck with Dad, and then, probably at a fairly young age as well, over there working, started out, mowing, washing trucks, moving trucks around, just being so involved in it and being around and in the trucks all the time. It was just kind of a natural progression. Then once I turned 18, I got my CDL right away. I didn't start driving right away after that, but went away to college, got an associate's degree, and then started doing aviation training. About halfway through that, I came home for a year, and that was my first real exposure to being a log truck driver and running some of the equipment out in the woods when I had to. Really enjoyed it. Did that for a year, then went back out and did went back out to the Midwest, finished up my flight training, then focused on that career for about another couple of years. Once I got established with an airline and got based close to home, so I didn't have to worry about spending so much time commuting, my schedule kind of opened up a little bit, and then on most of my days off were spent at the family sawmill, and that's kind of where I am now. Fly half the month, work at the sawmill, being a log truck driver the other half of the month. So, Logging from Real Life is a channel that is going to be a lot of what you're seeing now in this world. This is actually the Bucks County, PA map, which I chose because our sawmill is in eastern PA, and Bucks County is one of the counties that we get into a lot when we're doing our log jobs or hauling for tree companies, different things like that. So it just made sense that this is the map that we would use. But yeah, this is the map that we'll be on for the first while here. The aim of this channel is to bring some realism or more realism into the gameplay. The reason that I chose that as one of the things that we are going to hope to use to differentiate our channel from the many others that are out there is that it's fun, definitely, to play this game and just to kind of do whatever you want, use whatever mods you want, add cash whenever you want, different things like that, roll a vehicle, use super strength or reset it, different things like that. But it just really kind of hit me a couple weeks ago when I was playing on another map and had, loads of equipment that I could just kind of do whatever I wanted with. And I think it was one of my skidders was, the condition of it was really low, and I decided it needed to be fixed and took it back to my shop and just clicked a button, and then, you know, this, what in real life probably would have been like a, you know, slightly major repair, you know, fixing something inside the engine, replacing a cylinder, you know, multiple tires needing, you know, something like that, that would take, you know, half a day, you know, maybe, or a day or two to fix. You know, I clicked a button and it was done in a couple seconds. So that's one of the major things that this channel will incorporate is some, yeah, making repairs and just service in general, keeping up with the business, the equipment, stuff like that, a little bit more realistic. So one of the things that we will be doing is pretty much every day in this game, there will be some kind of service that needs to happen on one of our trucks or pieces of equipment, something like that. Could be a minor thing, could be a major thing. That is one thing that we did when, you know, we were kind of putting this whole little Bucks County map together. We've got our mill, and then we've got, you know, another mill out there. We've got a bunch of different vendors and customers that, you know, we kind of built so we could simulate, you know, doing the different deliveries that we have. Pretty much everything, the name has been changed just to keep everything anonymous. But yeah, just do that. But one of the other things that we also did was we put, you know, a service company, Service Tire, that's the real name of it, but they're all over the East Coast. So, so yeah, there will be, you'll see one or of their two trucks, you know. I don't know if I'd say every other, maybe at least every third episode, they'll probably be, you know, around, you know, fixing a tire, either at our sawmill or out on the road somewhere. We built a towing company into this as well. So if there are, you know, like I think you have it in our description that, you know, one of the things that we do, one of our rules is that, as far as realism goes, if something happens, if you know, we have a rollover, or, you know, something, you know, less major, if we say that there's some kind of repair that needs to happen, that, like, we blow an engine or something, you know, we have a you know, a leak in the brake line or something like that, we actually do have, you know, we put a towing company into the game so that it could, you know, we get to call them out and have them take care of it, just like would happen in real life. And then we actually put a mechanic shop in there so that the truck can sit over there for half a day, whatever, when it's getting fixed and inspected, whatever, and just simulate that. And then, you know, along with that comes just kind of the inconvenience of having equipment down and needing to reallocate, shuffle resources so that you can keep the operation going. So we're going to try to show a little bit about what that is like, instead of just clicking a button, things are repaired in 2 seconds, you know, and then moving on. Anyhow, so you've been watching, we'll talk a little more about this later, but anyhow, what you've been watching in the background is kind of just a little bit of the world we've created. You know, we're at the sawmill over there, parked. We're in the work truck right now. You can see going out to look at a job. Again, one of the things that kind of gets glossed over, or maybe that doesn't even, just because, you know, other channels are just going and doing the logging. Not really trying to operate as, you know, like a real lumber company, real logging company. So I wanted to try to incorporate that a little bit more in this channel, in our videos. So right now we're out in the woods. We're actually looking at a job right now. And we don't just, obviously, as you can imagine, we don't just, you know, go out to woods and start cutting trees. And we don't just, for us anyhow, we don't just get given a job and then go and, you know, cut it and haul logs off of it. We get these jobs presented to us, and then, like you see here in the video, we will actually go out and look at the job. And we don't have a tool like that shows in the game, but we don't have a tool like that. We'll just go out and visually look and say, okay, there's a bunch of oak, is a bunch of poplar. There's some ash here. There's, you know, it looks like there's a lot of stuff that's pretty tall, pretty mature, pretty straight. So we think there's probably this many, you know, 100,000 board feet, this many loads that we're going to get off of it. And putting all that into account, then we say, okay, this is probably how much this job is worth, and for us to make it worth it, especially, you know, because, you know, with drive time, you got to think about, you know, how much fuel you're going to be using, and, you know, how much you're going to be paying your drivers to get out there every time. So, you know, it might make more sense for, you know, a company that's closer to do it than far away. But you just never know what people's situations are. So, going out and looking at jobs, filling them out, and then putting in a bid for the job, and then waiting to hear back is something that will show in here. So that was what you saw there with we'll say me going out and looking at those jobs, looking at the trees, seeing what was there. Currently now, anyhow, we jumped into our triaxle. We're going out to a job that High Climb Tree Service did. This is another thing that we do pretty often. There are a lot of tree guys out there that, you know, they just go out, take down the trees, and then they chip them up. But there's sometimes you get out to a property owner's property, and you take down some trees, and you get some trees that are actually nice quality and can be used to be processed in our sawmill and then be turned into, you know, boards, beams, whatever, and they can actually get some good money for it. So just like you're seeing, here's what we're doing right now. We'll go out to these jobs and then pick up these logs, bring them back, and then process them through the sawmill and turn them into whatever they need to be turned into. The problem with tree guys is that's not their main business, and most of them don't primarily do that or do that very often. So the very few times that they do, they don't have a great way to transport them. So they give us a call, and then we'll send either our tracks, or like you see now, or one of our tractor trailers out to the job, and we'll do the hauling for them. So right now, yeah, we've got our triaxle out there. Our driver Chad's out there, yeah, hauling a half a load for high climb tree service. Again, that's fairly normal, depending on how big the job was. They have some good logs, but they might not have a full load, but they can't haul them by themselves. So they call us out there, and we'll load the truck up, and as much as they have. It might be half a load, it might be 3/4 of a load, and that's just what it is. We charge them for our time, and then we go from there. And then we use logs to fill whatever orders that we have. So here's our service for the day. This is our boom truck. Where it had a hydraulic leak in one of the hoses, so it's in our shop right now, just at our mill, and it's getting that hydraulic hose replaced. Anyhow, jumping back to our bid for that new job that we went out and looked at this morning, came back, we did get the job. That is a very abbreviated timeline. It can take days, weeks, before you actually hear back. That was, after you submit the bid, then you hear back about the bid, and then, with permits and all that stuff, and then before weather works out, it can be a long time before you actually get on the job. Just because this is the first episode, and we're just, trying to get things going. We're gonna say we put in the bid today, heard back, the landowner, had all the permits worked out for us already, and once needs the cash right away. So our driver Jared had the afternoon free, so instead of working the short day, we decided to throw him in his truck, and he's taking our knuckle boom loader out to the job. So we did get a fairly, I did give him a pretty good description of what to look for, but this is a pretty normal thing that we'll do. You can see he pulled off to the side of the road here, and he's going to get out of the truck, and go and look. And, you know, I do this, pretty much all do this. I mean, sometimes you get to a spot where it's very obvious what you're going to do with your piece of equipment, or where you're going to be backing your truck in to get loaded. Sometimes it's just not. So you just pull over to the side of the road, put on your hazards, or you pull part of the way into the job. And that happens sometimes too, where it's a little bit of a longer driveway or something like that. You pull halfway in, and you know there's a spot for you to turn around further down, but you just might need to, you know, get a little bit of clarity about what's going on. So you just, you know, stop the truck, put on the parking brake, and you just go do some walking to, you know, kind of feel out, you know, what's going to happen. Anyhow, right now we're, our driver, Jared here is, looks like he is, backing in. Can be a little bit of a little bit of a hard time to get these things in, because these trailers are actually pretty long. You wouldn't think that a trailer that just has a loader on it would be that big of a deal, but they are pretty much every bit as long as our log trailers are. So backing them around into these spots can be a little bit of an ordeal. Back in the day, we did have a pretty old knuckle boomer that was a little bit shorter. That was a little bit easier to get moved around. I never actually personally hauled the one. We had sold it actually to an Amish crew. And they refurbished it and got working really well again. I ran it after they had refurbished it. The ones that we have now, this one that we have here in the game, anyhow, is a Barco loader with the buck saw on it. In real life, we have a Prentice loader on the tracks at our mill. And we also have a trailer mounted Prentice as well, knuckle boom loader. Probably in our next episode we'll get into it, but I will say that we do have a second trucking operation. We do pretty much the primary, or the majority of the hauling for another Sawmill. So if you do play this map, or if you just continue to watch, which you hopefully do, continue to watch our videos, again, this is the Bucks County, PA map. We kind of made it that up in the top left corner of the map, the Beaver Bros Sawmill is going to simulate the other sawmill that we do a lot of the hauling for. Anyhow, getting into some of the day-to-day stuff. Here's one of the things that's on our to-do list. We have a pool company that needs bender boards. So we're getting loaded up with bender boards right now. The Sawmill mod, if any of you have used global companies, this is a mod that requires global companies. This is the Caster Sawmill. There are other sawmills out there that are just not near as good. This one is fantastic. The other ones are usually just like a small setup, or just, you know, they just have made like a grinder or something that just grinds them up. This Caster Sawmill is a very good representation of what we actually do. It actually spits out boards, it spits out beams. This is the only one I know that actually spits out mulch for you, and also wood chips. It doesn't do surveyor stakes, which is one thing that our mill does, but does do pallets. So that's kind of the substitute. It also does not do sawdust. A lot of what we do is sawdust deliveries. When I'm in our delivery trucks during the day, I usually do multiple a day, and pretty much all of our sawdust goes to horse farms for bedding. So there may be times that we are doing sawdust deliveries in here. We'll just have to use wood chips and say, okay, you know, this is a wood chip delivery, or this is a sawdust delivery. Anyhow, we're getting the rest of the equipment now moved. Our driver Chad is taking the other piece of equipment out to the job. you're gonna see he's pulling off into the other lane right now, which is important. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing because this is a very heavy piece of equipment, very heavy, and we want to do as little damage to the road as possible. So instead of being on our side of the road and then having to walk across the whole road, we'll pull into the side of the road. And then, you know, sometimes in real life we could even put something down. We could put, you know, some pieces of wood or something down on the road so that it spreads the weight of the machine out instead of, you know, putting marks in the pavement. So that's kind of what we would do in real life, just to, you know, not leave marks and just to, you know, hopefully keep people happy that live, you know, close, that wouldn't complain, hopefully, that we're there doing the work that we're doing. Anyhow, so I have a whole list of stuff that we're going to cover in here, but we're already 2/3 of the way through this video. We've gone through most of it. Yeah, really all we have to get through now is that, yeah. Right now you probably see, yeah, our driver Chad is just going to be, I mean, he is our full-time driver. Jared, our other driver, is kind of part-time. He and I kind of go, you know, when I'm not flying, I'll run his truck. If I am flying, you know, he'll drive if there's work. But yeah, Chad will do pretty much everything. You know, he could be running the piece of equipment, but right now he's just running the or transporting the equipment because he, you know, moving that equipment and running that trailer is kind of, you know, thing that he's pretty well versed in. Anyhow, you see me moving the pickup up down the road with the lights on, just to alert people coming around the corner, you know, that we are moving our equipment, and it's, you know, just they don't fly around the corner and cause an accident or damage their car, our vehicles, things like that. You don't want anyone to get hurt, so just trying to be good neighbor. But anyhow, so I'm in that piece of equipment. I'm going to start bringing down some trees because Jared will be coming out in his truck and pulling his large trailer to get the first load out already today, just because we got bills to pay. We got payroll and all that good stuff. So Chad's heading back. This is probably it for him for the day, and then I'm going to get working on taking some trees down and get ready for Jared to come. So yeah. When he gets there, he'll, you know, we'll kind of see what it takes to get in there. It'll be pretty much like getting the knuckle boom loader in there, but you know, kind of get into our lane, throwing those 4 ways, and you just get backward in. There's, you know, we get into some pretty hairy spots. I've been into driveways where it's just really tight. Visibility is terrible. I remember there was one place I had to back into that it was a really tight, pretty tight road. The driveway was pretty narrow, and it was back in the fall when there were still leaves on the trees and bushes and stuff. It was at the point that it was just, the visibility was so bad I had to back the trailer halfway into the driveway and then put the truck in park and jump out of the truck to go see like what my trailer was doing, the truck was doing, and then get back in the truck and pull up a little bit and back up some more and then get out. And I probably did that another like 2 or 3 times, and then finally was, you know, straight into the driveway. I could just use my mirrors. But it's just there's we have some fun with some of the places we get into. That's just kind of part of the job when you're a long-term driver. So, as a kind of our differentiators that we want to be more real with this channel in our gameplay, we've got some rules that we're going to follow, and if you guys have other ideas of rules that we should have to make this even more real, please feel free to leave a comment below. We'll look at them, I'll take a look at them, and probably at least give them a shot. Let's see if that does add to it, and if it does, if it's what you guys like, if that's what you want to see, we'll go for it. So here are the rules that we came up with for now. Our first one is that we're not going to tab between vehicles. I think that just takes away from the gameplay. Second, just detour back to the video. Yeah, heading back to the yard while Jared straps down, and he's going to come back to the yard himself. The first load looks good. Anyhow, no tabbing, unless we're going between employees. If it's myself and I am going from one truck to another, or one truck, and then I remember that there's some pallets of wood that need to be moved, I can't tab from a truck to the loader back in the yard or something like that. And that's not how it works in real life, so that's not how we're going to do it here. If I need to get back to the sawmill to do some work with the loader, I've got to get in the work pickup or in my big truck or something like that with the load later, and I've got to drive back there and do it. If I'm showing that we've got Jared doing his thing, and then Chad is ready to go out with another load, I can tab between employees. But if it's one person that needs to go from one field to another, you've got to, like in real life, you got to walk there, drive there, whatever, do that stuff. Done. I do have easy development controls installed here. They can't be used. The only time that I want to use them is if I need to get a screenshot for a thumbnail, something like that. If it's a vendor that we have, and their business needs something, okay, obviously I'm not worried about multiple businesses. If I need to add another vendor for a customer or something like that, or they need a different vehicle or something like that, okay, jump into easy development controls, add some money for them. And if I'm doing 2 employees at the same time, then I can jump back into have control 1 employee. If I want to leave at 8 o'clock, have them go do a load, and I've got to run the loader to load the truck. And then at the same time, another employee would also be going out to get another load somewhere else. I can use easy development controls to go back to 8 o'clock, and then use, get the other employee also going to load them or something like that. Something I can't have them like auto drive and do or load or whatever. Like we said, vehicles need to be used realistically. Payroll, finances, we want to be real with that, so we're going to add money. If we get paid, if we do something that isn't simulated, and payroll is going to be realistic, so we'll delete money when we need to. Service is going to be real, and if we have long deliveries that happen, they're going to be we're asking to have the truck go on for a while. Really appreciate you guys watching. We hope to see you again.